Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Mario Tarantino. In honor of Thor Ragnarok coming out this week, I wanted to count down my favorites of the Marvel Cinematic Universe films from 16 all the way to 1. It's not that some of these movies are bad, it's just I like some more than others. I'm really going to do a deep dive once we get from 5 down, so I'll just kind of go through them rather quickly from 16 to 1, just so I don't make this video too long. Please make sure to subscribe to this channel. I'll be doing a review for Thor Ragnarok on Friday, so you can look forward to that. So let's just get right into it right here. Number 16 is Thor, which came out in 2011. For me, it's just a little boring. It's not really my taste. A lot of stuff in there just drags on way too long, and not a lot of excitement in there. They took away Thor's powers for most of the movie, and we didn't really know Thor at that point, so it was kind of a bore fest there. Number 15, we have The Incredible Hulk. Put an asterisk by this one because Ed Norton plays the Hulk in this movie, does a great job, but we finally get Mark Ruffalo's Hulk in the Avengers, who does an amazing job as Bruce Banner. But this movie is in the continuity because we get this scene at the very end, the post-credit scene.
What if I told you we were putting a team together? Who's we?
So we know it's part of the continuity because we have Tony Stark in there, and we also have General Thunderbolt Ross, played by William Hurt, who shows up in Captain America Civil War. So we know it's all in the same timeline. This is not the first time Marvel has recasted a character. Remember when this guy played Rhodey? Yeah, me too. And Mark Ruffalo also mentions events that happened in this movie in the Avengers. He says, last time I was in New York, I kind of broke Harlem. And that obviously references the third act of that film. So we know it's in the timeline. Number 14, Thor the Dark World. A little bit better than the first Thor. We spent a lot more time on Asgard, kind of explain realms and what they are. But again, it's still a little boring for me. Number 13, Iron Man 2, which came out in 2010. And this is where we finally start to connect the dots and see we're growing this universe. We get to see Scarlett Johansson's Black Widow for the first time, which is cool. And we really start to set up the Avengers, like I said. I like all the Howard Stark stuff in this movie, really Walt Disney-esque, but everything else, like Justin Hammer and Whiplash and everything, is just kind of for me. Number 12, Captain America, the First Avenger. Nice origin story for Cap here. My biggest problem with this is the special effects. I think that this is kind of distracting. I don't really think it works really well. You could tell that something looks off there. The proportions are kind of off. But Marvel has really perfected all of its computer-generated stuff now with all the de-aging they do in their movies now, like in Tony Stark in Civil War and Michael Douglas in AntMan, Kurt Russell in Guardians 2. But this was just a little distracting for me. We do get a great scene, which is this one right here. Marvel's casting is just perfect because when he comes out of that capsule, he is Captain America. That is what Captain America looks like. Chris Evans embodies everything that Steve Rogers is about and everything that Captain is about. Marvel always has perfect casting. Number 11, Iron Man 3, 2013. Things I liked about this movie, the PTSD storyline worked really well for me. I liked everything there. I really like what Robert Downey Jr. does with the character here. My biggest problem, they waste the Mandarin. They completely waste the Mandarin in this movie. Probably Iron Man's most well-known villain, but they kind of just throw him away. And that was my biggest problem with the movie. Number 10, AntMan 2015. Had no expectations going into this movie. I didn't really care too much about this movie, but I ended up really liking it. Really good heist movie. When Marvel does genre, they do it well, and this is a really good heist movie. Paul Rudd does a really good job in this movie. Edgar Wright was originally going to write and direct, so part of me is always just curious on what that movie would be about. Number 9, Doctor Strange, came out in 2016. Visually, just loved this movie, everything it was about. I really like the ending, everything with Dormammu. And Benedict just did a really good job. Number 8, SpiderMan Homecoming, coming out 2017. Finally got the Spider-Man that really embodies the character. No disrespect to Tobey or Andrew. I love Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, grew up on Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, and I really liked everything Andrew did in Amazing Spider-Man and even Amazing Spider-Man 2. But this movie, again, genre, really good John Hughes high school comedy, and that's why this movie's great. Michael Keaton has a great role as the Vulture. and the Tony-Peter dynamic really works well in this movie. Number 7 is, again, a movie that came out this year, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. This movie couldn't possibly live up to the expectations it had because of the first Guardians, but it did a really good job. Very emotional at certain times. I didn't know I cared that much about Yondu, but everything with him and Peter and everything with him and Rocket even was really great. Visually, the movie's amazing. Shot on red cameras for a good portion of it. James Gunn knows how to shoot a movie. The one criticism I have, the father and son storyline was a little bit too much in your face for me. It could have been really subdued. Number 6 is Avengers Age of Ultron. This movie came out in 2015. And this is where we really started building the tension towards the Civil War. I love the dynamics between all the characters. Marvel knows how to do fan service. So when we saw all the characters trying to lift Thor's hammer, that was just an amazing moment. And Cap kind of moves it a little bit. That's just absolutely amazing. Ultron is a bit of a meh villain. Again, Marvel with the villains, it's always a. But that's not why we went to go see the movie. We went to see the movie because we wanted to see the Avengers, and we did, and it was great.
Come on, Cap. Nothing.
All right, and now down to the top 5. Starting us off here, 2012's The Avengers. This is the first time we got to see all our heroes get together. And like I said, Marvel knows fan service. So when we got to see Thor's hammer hit Captain America's shield, that's just amazing. That's just an amazing moment in film. Nothing beats the first time we see the team actually assemble together. That's just absolutely if you're a fan of superheroes, nothing will beat that moment. Maybe when the Justice League gets together, we don't know. But that shot and the camera circles around all of them in the middle of New York City, hell's coming down on top of them, and they stand there together. That's amazing. Number 4, we have Iron Man 2008. This is the movie that started it all. The people we have to thank for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. 1, Kevin Feige. None of this would exist if it's not for Kevin Feige. And then we have Jon Favreau, who directed this movie and insisted that Robert Downey Jr. play Tony Stark. If Robert Downey Jr. was not Tony Stark, we would not have a Marvel Cinematic Universe. Guaranteed. Robert Downey Jr. had to audition for Tony Stark because we have to remember, 2008, 2007, he was not a bankable movie star. The entire Marvel Cinematic Universe timeline wraps around this movie, around this moment.
Truth is, I am Iron Man.
This is the moment that we wrap our timeline around post Tony Stark announcing himself as Iron Man and after he announces himself as Iron Man. We get our first post-credit scene in this movie. It was not shown to the testing audience or the critics. It was only released when the movie went theatrically, and we see Nick Fury come in and tell him he's about to be a part of this world that's so much greater than just him, and he doesn't know it yet. It's just an amazing movie that stands great on its own.
Jarvis.
Welcome home, son.
I am Iron Man. You think you're the only superhero in the world? Mr. Stark, you've become part of a bigger universe. You just don't know it yet.
Who the hell are you?
Nick Fury, director of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh.
I'm here to talk to you about the Avengers.
Number 3, we have Captain America: The Winter Soldier, coming out in 2014. This is the movie that finally changed the formula of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Before this, they all kind of followed the same exact formula up until Iron Man 3, and then this movie came out and changed everything because they finally started to play with genre. This movie, at its heart, is a political thriller, and I think that's why I like it so much. And then we get to see Captain struggle with the modern world and to come to this realization that this organization that he has fought for his entire life has been a fraud, and he's actually been working for the bad guy and not really knowing it. So there's a lot of great morality in this movie that Cap has to face. That's amazing. Again, Chris Evans just embodying everything we know about Captain America, and then we get to throw in Black Widow in this, and she plays a great part in this movie. We get to throw in the Falcon in this movie, who gives us a little bit of that added humor, which is great. What I love about this movie is the whole movie is not just Captain America adjusting to the modern world and being like, oh, let's make jokes about him being a fish out of water. It's not that at all. It's him adjusting to it and then learning to live with it. And it has great hand-to-hand combat. Him and Bucky in the street, Captain on the boat. A lot of great hand-to-hand combat with not a lot of special effects until we get to the third act, obviously with the helicarrier. But other than that, and there's nothing wrong with the special effects. Overall, there's not really anything that I don't like about this movie. It's great. Number 2, Guardians of the Galaxy, also 2014. And this is the movie I went into knowing nothing about the characters. I did not read Guardians of the Galaxy. I did not know who the Guardians of the Galaxy was, just what the trailers have told me. And this movie just blew me away. The funniest Marvel movie by far. And this is the movie that no one expected. And it's just such a fun space adventure. It's so colorful. Again, playing with genres. We have a space adventure opera movie. It's amazing. The dynamics between all the characters work so well, and we care about every single character in this movie, and we finally get to see Thanos and get a backstory to that with him, Gamora, and Nebula. Everything about this movie just blew me away. Finally, number 1, it has to be Captain America Civil War, coming out in 2016, the year that superheroes fought about their mothers. And this movie is no exception. Even though it is a Captain America movie, Tony Stark steals the show for me. Robert Downey Jr. gives an amazing performance. You can tell how much they don't want to fight each other, but they're fighting over their ideals in the beginning, which is amazing. You can see how much Tony cares. He knows he did wrong in Ultron. He knows it, and he just wants to make sure it never happens again. And Steve, knowing he's been wronged by Hydra, knows he can't trust the government to always tell him what's right. So we get these amazing clash of ideals, like in this scene right here at the beginning of the airport sequence.
And you've been a complete idiot. Dragging in Clint, rescuing Wanda from a place she doesn't even want to leave, a safe place. I'm trying to keep you from tearing the Avengers apart.
You did that when you signed.
All right, we're done. You're gonna turn Barnes over, you're gonna come with us. Now, because it's us. We're a squad of JSOC guys with no compunction about being impolite.
You could see how they both know what's about to happen is going to go down, but they both are trying so hard not to do it. Steve knows Bucky did not do anything wrong, and Tony knows that he needs to follow his orders. And it's absolutely amazing. But then in the end, they just end up fighting over Tony's mom. Tony even has a line, he goes, "I don't care, he killed my mother." And then just goes at it, and we get this amazing hand-to-hand fight sequence with Iron Man, Winter Soldier, and Captain America, ending with this scene, which just always gets me. This scene works for me so well emotionally. Check this out.
That shield doesn't belong to you. You don't deserve it. My father made that shield.
Captain America throws down his shield. Iron Man telling him what's what. He tells him, that's my father made that shield. You only exist because of my father. And Cap throws it down. Does he give it up? We're gonna have to see in Infinity War. We know he gives him the phone at the end of Civil War, just saying, "Hey, if you ever need me, I'm here for you. Because above all else, we're friends." That moment in the trailer even killed me. Where Cap says, "I'm sorry, Tony, but he's my friend." And what does Tony say? "So was I." Absolutely amazing. From all the promo for Infinity War that I've seen, Cap's got the beard, the long hair, and like almost this blackish outfit. No star. It's like a blacked out star. Looks amazing. So are we finally getting Dark Cap? We're going to have to wait and see. Coming out this Friday, Thor Ragnarok. Very excited. Looks amazing. After that, we have Black Panther in February. Avengers Infinity War, what we've been building up to this entire time. May 4th, 2018. Get ready. Then we have Ant-Man and the Wasp in July. We have Captain Marvel, which is going to be a prequel to all of this, in March of 2019. Avengers 4 or Infinity War 2, depending on what Marvel wants to call it, May 2019. And then SpiderMan Homecoming 2. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. I will be posting the review for Thor Ragnarok this Friday. Look out for that. But for now, that's all I've got for you. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.